Hey peeps, welcome back to my channel. I am just here for a brief moment today to say hello, to see how you're doing, and to answer a question recently that a reader asked. And so we will get into all that in a moment. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so and hit the like button, and we'll get started here in a minute. So a reader recently reached out and asked my assistant to pass on a request for information about my writing process. Well, we referred her to some of my other YouTube videos about writing, but I wanted to take a moment here today to encourage you, if you are a writer, if you want to be a writer, if you are already writing, to remember that you must find your own process. I don't use Post-it notes all over the walls. I don't use index cards to plot things on. I'm not a plotter. I'm an intuitive writer. I sit down and I write, and I use what I call a reverse outline, and I use what I could best say as a planner for my characters. For me, that is the best way to keep track of what's going on in my books. A reverse outline is very simple. After I finish a chapter, I do a bullet list of highlights that happened in that chapter, and I just keep adding to it. And that way, if something happens where I need more foreshadowing, I can jot it down on an earlier chapter on the notes, the reverse outline, put more foreshadowing about the killer in chapter 2, or, introduce the monster in chapter 3. That allows me to write intuitively, to write as I go, write organically, if you will. And yet it gives me the opportunity to make a note of where I need to fill in the blanks that may show up. So my reverse outline is my best friend. The second thing that I use is my series Bible, and I've got an entire video on that. I will probably remake that at some point, but I will put a link to it in the description box. The series Bible basically gives me a encyclopedia for my series, and I keep one for every series that I've written. And one of the other things that I use is I basically bought a planner, a weekly planner page off Etsy. That's on one page. It's an hourly planner page, plus it has a box below the hours for notes. And I keep that for my characters. That way I can write down if something happens where it's like they're talking about, we need to meet tomorrow at noon. I will go over, and on the planner page, I will jot down on the next day, they are meeting at such and such a place to discuss the ghost or something like that. So I keep a planner for my characters. It's usually only a couple weeks long, because all of my books seem to take place within a maximum of 2 weeks. The third thing that I use is a monthly calendar that has the sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset, and moon phases on it. And I will link to the place where I print that off. It's a free download. You can set the calendar to any month, and it will give you all the moon phases, and it will give you all the sunrise and sunset times, and it will give you the twilight times, like if you want to do civil twilight or astronomical twilight. Did you know there are 3 twilights? I did not realize that, but there are 3 different types of twilights. And this calendar will give you the option to check off all of those things that you want on it, and then you can print it out for your own use. So I print that out. So those 3 things help me keep track the most of what I'm doing when I'm writing a book. And I will put the links to the places that I found those. Of course, my reverse outline's my own creation. I'm sure somebody else maybe has done this, but I've been doing this for years and I thought of it on my own. So, I call it my reverse outline. So there you go. That's my basic process. And then I sit down and I start to write. I usually have about a page synopsis of the book, sometimes less, sometimes a little more. And sometimes I will jot down what I want to see out of character growth in the book for different characters. Hopefully that will help you out a little bit, and it gives you a little view into my own process and how I'm working. Now in personal stuff, Fractured Flowers is coming out next month. If you are not a Kindle user, I suggest pre-ordering it because 3 days after it comes out, it will go into Kindle Unlimited. But if you pre-order it on the different platforms, say Apple Books or Nook Books, you'll be able to get it. And after that, I will be writing Solstice Web, which will be a wedding book. For someone who doesn't write a lot of romance, I have written a lot of weddings, and I'm kind of tickled by that. I love weddings. Sam and I got married 3 times. Well, we got married once at our hand fasting and renewed our vows twice, and loved all 3 of them. And then I will be starting the Starlight Hollow series, and I'm looking forward to that. So hope you're doing well. I'm feeling pretty good overall. My vocal cords are still a little strained, but they're getting better. And kitties are doing well. They're all off sleeping somewhere right now. Took Ellie and Kiersey to the vet for their nail trims the other day. Ellie is 12.6 pounds. Kiersey is 12.5. They're big bundles of floof. Healthy, happy. Apple's doing well. Bridget's getting older. She's going to be 15 this year. And I'm taking her in to get her eyes checked next week. Actually, week after next. I think that her eyes are starting to go downhill a little bit. And we saw that with Mère Claire. Mère Claire was blind for the last 3 years of her life, but she did well. I just want to make sure and find out what's going on. Otherwise, Bridget's doing quite well. I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. If you'd like to support my channel in other ways, you can join me over on Patreon, where I keep a writing diary for my patrons only. And I keep that up once a week. And a lot of other things like a patron-only Frazzle Cat drawing and several other posts throughout the month, magical post, things like that. So I will talk to you later, and hopefully I'll be back this weekend with another video. Take care. Bye-bye.